All right, guys. We are back again. Terrible Towel Tuesday, man. Latest edition here. And like always, guys, I'm going to give you guys a few moments to get in, get a few more people in. Then we'll get it rolling, man. And I'm going to talk a little bit about, how the Pittsburgh Steelers lost to the Patriots. And, hopefully you guys understand where I'm coming from, man. So, again, let's give it just a second here. We'll wait for some of you guys to get up in here. Let me move the mic a little closer. And we'll get it going, man. How you guys doing, man? Tyrone Donovan, what's up, man? What's going on with you, brother? Appreciate you coming through. And we'll get started here in just a moment, guys. Like I said, I like to, allow guys to get in here a little bit. Then we'll get it rolling. So give me about another minute here or so, and then we'll get it cracking. And we're going to talk, man. There's a lot to talk about, guys. There is a lot to talk about in terms of this game, man. There's some encouraging things. There's some things that, you may want to be upset about. And then we're going to talk about a couple other things, man. Of course, we're going to address the elephant in the room, which, of course, is that situation with Jesse James. All right, so let's go ahead and get it cracking, man. So first and foremost, guys, what I want to start doing, I want to start recapping some of the things that we hear from Coach Tomlin, especially when I'm able to do this show, here in the evening, which I plan to continue to do it at 6 p.m., good time, I think. I usually get a lot of more participation during that time. So that's what I aim for. So, of course, I always watch the Tomlin presser. And if there's anything important, man, anything that I think I need to point out, I definitely want to do that. So let's start off with that, and then we'll dive into the game. So first and foremost, man, let's talk about some of the injuries. James Conner, guys, he's injured. He will be placed on IR. Another thing that Coach Tomlin said is that he will be replaced. And we found out a little while ago, a couple hours or so ago, the Pittsburgh Steelers have signed Stevan Ridley. A lot of you guys may remember Stevan Ridley, obviously, mostly when he was with the New England Patriots. So we know what this guy is capable of doing as far as, carrying the ball or out the backfield and things like that. I actually think it's a plus if we can get him up to speed out of the backfield, because this is another guy that when Le'Veon Bell gets a breather, Ridley is capable of hurting you out of the backfield as well. Again, we saw this happen in the New England Patriots. The Patriots seem to always be able to find guys that they can plug and play. It's always been a guy like Kevin Falk. Remember him? And then you get guys like Shane Vereen. And now they got Dion Lewis or James White. They had Stevan Ridley. So we understand what Stevan Ridley can bring to the table. So there you have it. James Conner is out, man. Tough break for him. I just feel very bad for him, man. He's, injuries has hurt him, in his career, even in college. And then we all know he overcame the cancer. And it's just unfortunate, man, to see him have to go through these things. So hopefully he can bounce back. I liked what James Conner was able to bring for us, a little spark, a little quicker than Le'Veon in terms of hitting the hole. So it was a nice change of pace. So we'll see how that goes. And the fact that Steelers signed Stevan Ridley lets me know right there that, maybe they don't have as much confidence in a guy like Toussaint. Maybe they don't have as much confidence in a guy like Toussaint, or maybe it's not enough confidence in a guy like Watson. Remember Watson was put back on the practice squad. So that's very interesting, man. And we'll see how that develops. Another thing, he classified AB as having a, what does it say here, a significant contusion. They asked Tomlin, well, does that mean that his calf is not torn? And Tomlin says, hey, I'm not a doctor. I asked them, can I classify it as a contusion? They said yes. Excuse me, here's the news I give you. It's a contusion. So we'll have to see how that goes as well. It's significant, man, because he says it's a significant contusion. We don't know right now what the timetable is. This is going to be tough. We'll talk about that here in a moment as well. The lack of AB, what that could do to our offense, via good, via bad. We'll go into that. Also, Foster. Ramon Foster starts showing, some bad signs in terms of, being put in the protocol for a concussion. They said he started showing some concussion-like symptoms. And, hey, that's not a good thing either. I mean, you want to keep your offensive line intact. Of course, we're going to get a guy back. We'll talk about that here in a moment, but we got to keep an eye on that, man, and make sure Ramon Foster, the big Ragu, as they call him, is okay. Keep an eye on that. Now, as far as some positive injury news, Vance McDonald and Joe Hayden, Tomlin quickly said that these guys are going to get a chance to participate. So I'm going to say expect to see those guys play against the Houston Texans, because this game now has become a little more important. Also, Marcus Gilbert would be back in the fold after his 4 weeks suspension, for the substance abuse or PED use, whatever it was, the violation of the substance abuse policy. He's back. I would expect him to play as well. It's funny, man, because you got to give credit to what Hubbard has been able to do. Hubbard has held everything down and held his own, done a great job. But when you have Gilbert in there, remember, we like to use Chris Hubbard as that extended tight end, if you will, the extra tight end when we go in the jumbo package, helping us out in the run game. That could be very beneficial. Whereas, with Hubbard starting, it was Hawkins that was coming in as that extra guy. So you still see that the Steelers were trying to attack the same way. They just didn't have the pieces that they would prefer to have. So there you have it. All right, so here we go. Y'all ready? Let's dive into some real stuff that Tomlin mentioned in the press conference. And then after that, guys, we're going to address the game. And, again, the elephant in the room is the Jesse James situation. We're definitely going to address that. I have until 7 p.m., well, roughly right before that. So we got some time. All right, man. So one thing that Tomlin did say, now you can agree or disagree with his decision one way or another, but he mentioned that the refs, Tony Correnti, called the timeout because Ben Roethlisberger, after the Juju play, right? Let's rewind and give everybody the scenario. Steelers had the ball, 52 seconds left. They kicked off to us at like 56, and we ran out to kick off a little bit. It burned like 4 seconds or so. The Steelers started, 52 seconds on the clock, 52-51. All right? Juju Smith-Schuster, first play. Ben drops back. He finds Juju over the middle on a quick shallow. Juju turns it upfield, and a lot of us probably thought he was about to score. Kind of runs out of gas a little bit, tripped up a little bit. You can't fault the man for that. I mean, when is the last time you've run 70 yards? Almost had an opportunity to score. Big play, something we desperately need. Get us down to the 10-yard line. Now, here's the catch. Coach Tomlin said in his press conference that Ben Roethlisberger looked over to him and signaled timeout, as in to ask, hey, do you want a timeout here, right? Tomlin says he told Ben no, waved it off. He wanted to keep the timeout in his pocket. He'd rather them run up to the ball, clock it, and it's first, it's 2nd and 10 with a timeout, which I can understand that strategy. The catch, though, is this. Some people may feel, well, no, you do want to take the time out there because I think the clock was down to about 34 seconds at that time. So you would imagine that it might take another 10 seconds or so for the big lineman to get down there and everybody get in position for you to clock it. So you may have killed 10 seconds in the process. I get that as well. I get some people saying, nah, you don't want to do that, right? Now, here's where I would agree with Coach Tomlin if he did that. Matter of fact, let me get this out on the table. I agree with both scenarios. I agree with calling the timeout like they did to get yourself back gathered, get up on the ball, and, there's no rush. But I also agree with if you can get up there and clock it, and maybe you do eat up about 10 seconds, but think about it. Even if the clock is at 20 seconds from the 10-yard line with a timeout and it's 2nd down, that's plenty of time for 2 plays. You see what I'm saying? You get the 2nd down and you get the 3rd down and you got the timeout. So you're probably going to take 2 shots in the end zone, or think about this. If you have a timeout, you could throw the ball and play. You could throw it in the field of play and hope somebody makes a move and get in the end zone. Or let me tell you what else you could do at that point. You could spread them out and run the ball. With the timeout, get even closer. So I understand the thought process behind Tomlin saying, nah, let's hold the timeout. But anyway, let me get to the point. The point is that Tony Correnti says he looks at Ben Roethlisberger and he awarded the timeout. So Mike Tomlin said he grabs him and was like, nah, you know what? Why did you do that? The timeout is supposed to come from the sideline. Correnti goes on to say, well, I thought he was, it came from Roethlisberger. And Tomlin said, no, it didn't. Roethlisberger was looking at me. He wasn't looking at you. He's looking at me asking if I want a timeout. So that was an error by the referees right there. Now, again, like I said, you guys can, agree or disagree or whatever, what he was going to do with the clock management. It is what it is. But the point is, Coach Tomlin said that the referee awarded the timeout and it was not called by him. So that was a mistake from the referees, because the way Tomlin put it is, in that scenario, maybe I guess under a certain amount of minutes, or that might be the scenario in general, that it comes from the sideline. So he was putting the emphasis on that the timeout was supposed to come from the sideline, shouldn't have been awarded by Roethlisberger looking at him and saying timeout. So that's a problem right there. All right, what else did he say? Another key thing that he said in the press conference. He also said, with Rob Gronkowski on that last drive, we're going to talk about that there were supposed to be double team situations. He said that, and also, I know I'm going to butcher her name, Aditi Kinkembwala, I think I'm saying it correctly. Y'all know who I'm talking about if you're Steelers fans, because she covers the Steelers quite a lot. You know what I mean? So y'all know who I'm talking about. But she asked him also the same question, and she stated, she said, hey, Sean Davis and Mike Mitchell after the game both said in that scenario there was supposed to be help. There was supposed to be, where Gronk is basically being double teamed and things did not play out the way it was supposed to. So that means, while a lot of us would question, and I say us because we're all in this community, so I'm gonna always, I'm definitely gonna always include myself in this. But I don't feel this way. I don't never blame the coaches and things like that until I know the actual situation. Then once I know what their intentions were, then I will give my thoughts. Also, here's another thing we got to consider. We can say what we want sitting on the couch. We don't know the play calls. We don't know the actual scenario. Now, some of us are very knowledgeable about football and we can recognize formations, et cetera, but we don't know the play call. So that's why I said, you know what, I want to hear if Tomlin is going to address that. Because, of course, it's very easy for us to say on that last drive, man, they should have gave more attention to Gronkowski. But we're going to get into that. I'll give you a moment. But I thought it was very key that players said that there were supposed to be double teams happening there. It didn't get executed the right way, and we all know the story. All right, so let's talk about that real quick since we're on that, and then we'll get back to the Jesse James situation. Now, a lot of people, including those that are like Stephen A. Smith, he's a huge Steelers fan, and I'm seeing everybody just blowing up over, oh, it's Gronkowski. They know what you're doing. Tom Brady's only going to him. Why would you not give him any help? Blah, 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 blah. Well, again, this shows you that there was supposed to be help. Because, see, what we have to stop doing, guys, and I know we're all emotional as fans, and I get it. But if we have to trust in the team and trust that our coaches know football. We have to trust that Tomlin or Keith Butler or any of these guys understand the situation. And they're going to attempt to make the best play call, or they're going to put the guy that they feel has the best chance of giving us a chance in that scenario. We also have to consider this. You saw Sean Davis on him a lot because, again, we have to remember who's not on the field. Who's not on the field? Ryan Shazier, which we all know Ryan Shazier, I'm saying it all crazy. Ryan Shazier would have clearly been the guy that would have been playing underneath coverage on Gronkowski, and then you get the benefit of having maybe Sean Davis now playing over the top, instead of having Sean Davis play him man up and having Mike Mitchell have to kind of, play over the top. Because you also have to consider this as well. Why did they, go the way they went? First series by the New England Patriots, they come out, they hit us with a big play action in zone coverage. Artie Burns, gets beat on the play or peeks in the backfield, whatever he was doing. Cooks gets on the outside of him. Mike Mitchell unable to cover enough ground. They hit a big play just like that. So you have to honor Cooks. Because think about it. In that game, Artie Burns was allowing Cooks to get behind him a little bit. He made a couple good plays, but he made some plays where Cooks got behind him. He even got a PI drawn on him. Now, again, Brandon Cooks is lightning fast, so that's going to happen. But here's the other thing. The man coverage actually helped us in this game. It actually helped us. You know why it makes it seem like it didn't? The last drive, which I'm in agreement with everybody. The last drive, you just can't give up 3 consecutive passes, man, to Gronkowski. You can't do it. But again, if the players and the coach are saying they were supposed to be double coverage in them scenarios, then somebody didn't execute. But I understand why the coverage was what it was, because we got burnt in the zone early. The man coverage was working better. Corners was doing their job. It just is what it is. You got at the end of the day, you have to expect your guy to make a play. Now, where I think there should have been more attention paid is definitely on the 2-point conversion. I don't like Sean Davis being singled up, is solely singled up on Gronkowski on the 2-yard line or whatever yard line they put it on to do the 2-point conversion. That I didn't like, especially seeing how he was unable to guard him all the way down the field. That I feel like you should have maybe called up something better to get, more coverage on him. That's where they're going. They're splitting him out on Sean Davis. They're going there. But again, like I said, listen, coaches make calls or whatever. Again, it's easy. It's easy for us to sit here and say what we should have did, what we would do, what they should have done, blah, blah, blah. Listen, man, none of us are NFL coaches, and none of us obviously are playing in the NFL. So I agree that we should have paid a little more attention to him, but I have to take it at the words of the players. Sean Davis and Mike Mitchell both said, look, they were supposed to be double teams on those situations, and we didn't execute. And if you go back and look at a couple of those plays, like the last drive, it does show that Mike Mitchell and some of them plays was right there. And then it shows a play where Mike Hilton is underneath, but he's kind of guarding another guy as well. So I don't know. I don't know what the play call was. That's why I want to definitely get the all 22 so I can look into that and figure out what's going on. But unacceptable, man. Unacceptable to give up that type of drive where they have about 2 minutes or so left on the clock. It's just, you can't do that. Whether Sean Davis can't guard Gronkowski, I mean, who can? We got to find a way to get that done. But let me jump into some other stuff real quick. This is how we lost the game. I'm not even going to put it on the defense. I'm not going to put it on the defense because the defense played a pretty good game, man, if you think about it. That last drive, Gronkowski catches 3 consecutive balls, right? For a net gain of like 68 yards. He finished with, 9 catches, 6 catches, or whatever it was for, I think it was 9 for 168. You take those 3 catches away, right? You hold Gronkowski to, 6 catches, 100 yards. That's not a non-believable thing, because he was the only guy that was really eating. He's going to get his numbers the same way a guy like Antonio Brown is going to get his numbers. Same way a guy like Julio Jones is going to get his numbers. It's some people, it's just what you going to do. We might not have the personnel to play them like that. Like when Seattle, when Legion of Boom was able to play these guys and they put Chancellor on them. Maybe Sean Davis is just not that guy. We have to recognize that as well. But what I also wanted to say is, if you take away that last drive, the defense didn't do a bad job against Tom Brady. You think about it. Again, the man coverage actually worked better in our favor. But They killed us on the last drive. Had they not done that, I think we'll look back at the numbers and we'll be like, you know what? The defense played better. The Patriots are going to get their points. They're going to move the ball the same way the Steelers do on people. But it's all about how much you can limit a guy. But here's how we lost the game. We possessed the ball on, it was 3 minutes and 56 seconds left, I think. We had possession of the ball. Our defense had held them to a field goal. Score is 24-19. Okay? Steelers need to get a couple first downs. Game's over. Game's over. The offense that has been playing very well last few weeks, we couldn't close the show. All we had to do was take one last possession away from Tom Brady. Steelers win the game. Steelers would win the game if the offense could have closed the show. I remember texting all the people that I talked to during the game and saying, yo, offense right here got to close the show. And we always like, yeah, let's get it done. We've been moving the ball on these guys. Here's the problem. The good old conservative Steelers showed back up. Running the football. And listen, I understand Le'Veon Bell had a great game. But in these scenarios where I got to get on to Todd Haley, because I'm assuming he's the one calling the plays. You know, and Ben checks off plays here and there because Tomlin did mention that today as well. He does have the ability to do these things. But here's the problem. You can't get conservative in those scenarios. Keep attacking. The Patriots wasn't stopping us in that game. We outplayed them. Attack. Everybody knows that you're probably going to try to run the ball to milk the clock because Le'Veon Bell is over 100 yards. Pass the ball. Quick passes. Slants. Shallow cross. Stuff like that. Pass the ball, man, and get the first down and make the Patriots have to think about using timeouts early. All you need is 2 first downs. That high-powered offense gets the ball with less than 4 minutes left. The game is supposed to be over. I'm putting that on the offense. They didn't get the job done. Like my man says here, we ran the ball on a 2nd and 23. Come on, man. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. And Ben Roethlisberger is playing good football right now, guys. Ben balled. Go look at the numbers. But we're going to talk about the ending. It's coming. I'm trying to get all this out before I address the Jesse James and I address the last play. It's coming. But that's where we lost, man, because I got a lot of notes here, even here on the computer, guys, and the way everything transpired, man, it's so many things that there's no need for me to even talk about now because the way the game ended. I mean, we could just wrap up the show on just that. But here's some things to be encouraged about real quick, guys, before we jump into that. It's not over. It's not over. Anything can happen. Somehow New England might lose one of these games or whatever, or 2. Who knows? Buffalo might get them, and maybe we end up still with a better record. Then we're back in the 1 seed. I know it's an if, but hey, keep an eye on the Buffalo game because they got some beef with them right now, especially after the Gronkowski situation and Buffalo trying to get in them playoffs. That could be a toss-up. They can run the football. New England is susceptible to the run. Well, let's just keep an eye on that. We'll see what happens. Outside of that, we're going to see them again. You know, even if we don't get the 1 seed, we probably will see them again. We have to believe that our team is good enough to get through these playoffs and get back to the championship game, which you would think, unless they get knocked off, would probably be New England. And I really think we could get them, man. You look at this game, you have to be encouraged by the way we played. Think about it. All of the talk has been, listen, you know, can the Steelers compete? Oh, the Patriots have their number, which, you know, the numbers don't lie. The Patriots have beat us X amount of times in the last several years. Now Tom Brady is 11-2. It is what it is. But I think we can all walk away from this game and say, yo, we outplayed them. Yo, we actually beat them. Had it not been for some controversy with Gronkowski going off, with that final drive allowing 3 straight passes to Gronkowski, with Sean Davis being torched, we still beat them on the field with Antonio Brown going out the game very early. We should be encouraged to know now that the Steelers can compete with the Patriots. The Steelers could very well, I strongly feel that the Steelers are in position right now that we could very well go into Foxborough if necessary and beat the Patriots. Other teams have done it this year. You know, you want to throw away the Kansas City game because it was the first game of the year? Okay, Carolina went in there and did it. It's possible. We saw it on Sunday afternoon. The Steelers can play with the Patriots and very well could probably beat the Patriots. Again, look at all the pieces we didn't have. No Joe Hayden, which changes a lot as well, because then you could do different things with some of the other backup corners that might not have to start. You know, that could dictate some dime packages and things like that. Obviously, no Ryan Shazier, and we're not going to get Shazier back. And then AB's down. Vance McDonald, which is going to be huge, I think, against the Patriots if we have him healthy. Him and Jesse James. So it's a lot to be encouraged about, man. And we saw it on display Sunday. Our team showed up. And now let's get to the nitty-gritty. Well, hold on. Let me give it some credit real quick. Let me tell you who showed up, man. This guy named Martavis Bryant. Interesting. Catching a nice deep ball that he dives out for. And the touchdown, one-handed. Didn't he make that look easy? With your boy grabbing his arm? My man just was like, it ain't nothing. Go ahead and interfere. I'm still going to catch it. Why wasn't that called pass interference? I'm just wondering. But listen, the Steelers got weapons. Juju doing his thing. I mean, this kid seems to always make a play. Whether it's blocking or receiving or whatever. I mean, to get that off in the last 51 seconds of the game to put us in position, Juju Smith-Schuster is a problem. So now you got a Patriots team or any other team that we face that's now like, whoa, they playing good football right now. All of these guys are playing. Well, AB being out is going to hurt us. I'm going to briefly talk about that. But Martavis playing well, Juju playing well, Jesse James playing well, Eli Rogers making some plays here and there. And then if you get Vance McDonald and then obviously Le'Veon Bell, and if you get AB back healthy, trust me, I think the Steelers can compete and beat the Patriots. I really do. Will they do it? We don't know. You know, are we going to get to the Super Bowl this year? Nobody knows. The defense is going to have to tighten up a little bit. Definitely going to have to tighten up. So real quick on AB, and then we're going to get into these elephants in the room. That's significant, man. Hopefully he gets back by the playoffs because, again, you know, if teams can not have to worry about him so much and just, you know, play regular defense per se against the other receivers and take your chances, makes it a little bit harder for us. So we really need to hope that AB is, you know, healthy and ready to go for the playoffs. You know, I don't know exactly if it is just a significant, you know, contusion or if it is an actual partial tear. We'll see. Hopefully he's able to rest, get back. This is why we definitely need to get this bye, and we'll be good to go. Without AB for a playoff game, I think we can still win, but it definitely gets tougher. All right, so elephant in the room, man. And then I'm going to get to some of you guys' comments, man. Good God almighty. Let's talk about the Jesse James play, shall we? Now, we all know the rule per se, okay? We all know the rule and what it states. We've seen this type of thing happen before, right? But it seems like, and listen, I don't know what it is. I know there was an article put out today saying that that your boy, what's the guy's name? I can't remember. Al Riveron, I think one of these officials that they're not saying that it's a conspiracy or anything like that, but there's been some controversial calls, 3 of them this season, that have gone in favor of the Patriots. You know, the Severian Jenkins catch when they played, who was that, the Giants? The Jets, I think it was, how they overturned that touchdown. You know, how they award the touchdown to Brandon Cooks against the Houston Texans. And then this touchdown that they take away from the Steelers. And I see a guy says Dez Bryant. I'm going to definitely talk about that real quick as well. I think Dez caught the ball as well in Green Bay. You know, he took more than one step, and then he lunged for the pylon. In that scenario, I think that was a catch. If anything, he fumbled it when he hit the ground. But the key thing to know, there's two things that I want to know from the people looking at this play that made this call with the Jesse James scenario. Let's acknowledge when most of the time when they have to make this call, the guy's knee hasn't already touched. You know what I mean? He isn't established as actually catching and completing the process. In Jesse James' case, that's the number one thing you got to look at. There's two things, but that's the number one thing. Jesse James caught the ball, pulled it in, knee down. According to the rule, that should have completed the catching process because he went down to the ground. It wasn't like he went hands first. He didn't dive. He went down, knee hit with possession. That's a catch. That should have been ruled a catch right there. Okay? Then, maybe a split second after that, he reaches to try to get to the pylon. Now, because the knee has already touched, and in the rules, technically, that completed the process. Then he makes a football move. Soon as it hits the pylon, the white, touchdown. Now, I understand the rule of, them saying, oh, he's got to maintain possession and all of that. But again, is literature in the rule that says once, the process of the catch is complete, once his knee hits and he has possession, that's a catch. So that should have right there ruled it a catch. Here's another thing. Let's say we look past that and we're going to go to the video. Whatever happened to conclusive, irrefutable evidence? Can we clearly say that he lost possession? No. Did the ball move? Of course, yeah. We all saw that. But his hand was still under the ball. And even in the old rules, the ball can touch the ground so long as you don't lose possession. Now, was it kind of strange to see the ball turn and his top hand ends up this way and his other hand is still under it? At least 3 fingers were under it. And he gets right up. He never lost possession. And again, had they called it an incompletion, I would have had the same gripe. I'd have been like, dang, man, I don't think it's enough to overturn it into a touchdown. And I would have been cool with it. I would have been pissed. But I would have been like, it won't enough to overturn it. That's how I feel about that play. It was ruled a touchdown. I don't think there was clear-cut evidence that he lost possession to overturn that call. So that's 2 things right there that, to me, how do you miss that? How is it not considered a catch at the point when the knee goes down and he brings in the ball, then extends? It wasn't a one motion. You clearly saw him catch in, then out. That's possession. With the knee down, then he stretches. He should have became a quote-unquote runner once it's established as a catch. Now he's a runner, knee down, not touched. Goal line, break the plane, touchdown. That's it. I don't get that. I'm so mad about that, man. But hey, it is what it is, man. Like Tomlin said, we can't cry over spilt milk. And let's talk about this last play real quick. Cause hold on. Here's another thing that Tomlin said. The refs introduced a third scenario. While they were waiting for the review, the refs told Tomlin, they could come back and say that he was down, place the ball at the 1, and then a 10-second runoff. In what case scenario would that have been the ruling? How could they even pop? The refs told him this now. Here are the 3 scenarios we're looking at. In what world would that have made him down at the 1? Because if you're going to come with that scenario and he's down, He wasn't touched. So nobody touched him, so he could extend, and that should, again, be a touchdown. So it's not like they didn't have all of the things that I just ran through when they were reviewing it. I don't see it. I don't see how you overturn it, man. I just don't see it. Now, the last play. It came out as well that we found out that there wasn't 2 plays called in the huddle. Should it have been? Probably so. But, you know, again, there's a lot of confusion going on. I don't know what the situation was. But you would like to think that after the Jesse James play, clock is stopped, they call 2 plays. They're going to say, all right, let's run a play. If we get in the end zone, great. If it stops before the end zone and you stop inbounds, let's run right back up to the line, run the next play. You would think that's what they should have done. But here comes the confusion. Hayward Bay gets tackled in bounds. Ben says, and I don't like Ben coming out and saying this, and I will explain why. But Ben says that he wants to clock it. Keep in mind, it's 3rd down. He wants to clock it. Coach Tomlin or Todd Haley and them are in his ear saying, no, don't clock it. Run a play. You got plenty of time to run a play. Got plenty of time to get to the line. And even when Ben hiked it, it's 9 seconds. That's plenty of time to take a shot in the end zone. Plenty of time. And still leave you a few seconds to kick a field goal on 4th down. That's what you do. So I agree with the coaches on that aspect. No, don't clock it, because if you clock it on 3rd down, you're basically saying, oh, we're going to concede right now and just go straight to the, go straight to overtime. No. Excuse me. That's not what you do. You play to win. You play to win the game. Like Herm would say. Play to win. You don't get it? I mean, it's a shot in the end zone. Now, here's the problem, guys. Why Ben throw that? That's on him. Why did he try to force it? Clearly, the rest of the team was thinking clock because none of the other receivers went out on a route. He signals something to Eli. Eli runs the slant, and he forces it in there. Now, if you go back and look at the throw was a little high, like as far as location, and a little behind him. Maybe if he puts it out just a touch in front, Eli might be able to put his hands on it, throw it a little lower. That's all hindsight, it's 2020. But when I saw it, I'm thinking, it ain't there. Throw it out of bounds. So it still was in Ben's control to throw that ball into the bleachers. Throw it in the crowd. And let's go kick the field goal. Let's go get them in overtime. So regardless of what happened there, once Ben hiked the ball, his decision is his. Should not have forced it. He did. We know what happened. It is what it is. Sad situation, man. But I just think there was a lot of confusion going on at that time, which I get it. But come on, man. Once you have that ball in hand, if it's not there and it's not clear, throw it away. You don't force it in there. I mean, he was covered basically by 2 guys, another 2 guys right here in front of him. It had a very small chance of making it. It had to be a perfect throw. It wasn't. My man makes a great play, gets his hand in there. Harmon picks it off, and the New England Patriots go on to win. So that's how I feel about the whole thing, man. We got robbed on the touchdown, point blank period. But then after that, we still had an opportunity, didn't convert through the interception. It is what it is. So let me look at what a couple of you guys are saying, man, so we can get up out of here, man. I'm brushing up close to my time here. Excuse me. Catching rules definitely need to be addressed. I absolutely agree with that. They need to include where breaking the plane is regardless. That catching it to the ground and all that part, man, they should adjust that. Because we've seen not just us, we've seen other teams affected by that. They have to modify that rule. Do you think the Steelers could have a chance? Yeah, I already addressed that. Let's see. I saw one comment. Okay, here we go. Fred F says, come on, man. As ESPN say, come on, man. And matter of fact, ESPN stole that from Ed Lover with come on, son. So I'm not giving them credit for that. But he says, anybody with some brain power can see they needed to double up on Gronk. That's your coach and your offensive coordinator. Go figure. Okay, but again, did you hear when I said that Tomlin said himself there was supposed to be double coverage in those scenarios? Now, if you want to believe him, do. If you don't, you don't. But that's what he said. The players also said that. So there was miscommunication on the field. So there you go. Let's see. Spirit of Truth said exactly. If you show double on Gronk, then quick slant to Cooks. That's what I'm saying, man. And this was I was explaining this too to other people that I was watching, communicating with during the game. You got to stay honest because I keep saying Crooks. Cooks has already gotten behind Artie Burns. So it's hard with the personnel on the field to say we're just going to continue to double Gronk. You got to mix that in. But like I said, man, we did something that the Steelers fans have all been asking for. They went man the majority of that game and had some success. Even Cam Sutton was out there doing his thing. It's just, one, Gronkowski is Gronkowski. Two, Tom Brady is Tom Brady. And three, when Sean Davis got caught in them scenarios, he just didn't win the battle. But like I said, we wouldn't be talking about it as much had that last drive not gone so easy. We all would look back and say, oh, you know what? Gronk got some numbers, but he didn't kill us. But on that last drive, somebody says Ben choked. Yeah, I don't know about that. Ben was just trying to make a play. Yes, Mike Hilton played big. Gotta give Mike Hilton is a baller, man. Love that guy. We still got to find a game plan for Gronk. He hurt us in the second half. Yeah, man, I don't know what the game plan is. Like I said, we got to remember that Ryan Shazier is a key component there. Because everybody knows that Ryan Shazier would get the responsibility of at least playing him in the front part. Like when you go, let's say you go man. Now, instead of maybe the cover one, we might be able to do more of a cover two man. Put Shazier on Gronk to body him a little bit, up at the line and, within the first 5 to 10 yards, and then you can have Sean Davis over the top. When you take Shazier out of the equation, it's not the same level of success that you're going to see even trying to double Gronk. You understand what I'm saying? So we got to remember that, guys. We have to remember that Shazier not being out there is a tough one. It all started with Calvin Johnson. Yeah, man. Tough situation, man. And the ground can't cause a fumble. Yep, I fully agree. My man SD Smith says there are several pictures and vids showing he lost it. The knee down, not the end of the process. If he still has full impact with the ground, going to the ground, he would have been upright long enough. Okay, I see what you're saying, man, but I don't know. I can't agree with that. I don't think that he lost, me personally, and I'm not looking at this as a Steelers fan. I'm not looking at it with black and gold glasses. All the pictures I'm seeing, even the thumbnail I posted here in this video, it shows his hand is still underneath the ball. I never saw a part, to me, where he completely lost possession. I didn't see that. I don't think it was clear enough to overturn. That's what I'm saying. Whether he lost it or not, nobody knows. What I'm saying is it wasn't clear enough evidence, in my personal opinion, to overturn the call on the field. And the knee aspect, according to the rule, that should have completed the end of the catching process. I don't know. Maybe I'm interpreting it the wrong way, but plenty of other people said it. I even saw Max Kellerman saying the same thing. I've seen some NFL analysts say the same thing. So I don't know, man. Let's see. I'll look at one more comment here. Yeah, man, and my man Tony just reminded me those penalties hurt us too, man. Penalties hurt us big time. The holding, I had that as one of my notes, man. Big Al got a holding call and a false start all in the same drive. That stuff hurt us, man. And I think, actually, let me see if I can find that notation, man. And I'll tell you exactly which drive it was on. Yeah, it was the 7th offensive drive. It was a big third down conversion to Bell. Ben scrambled for the first down on 3rd and 4. And then Al got called for holding on an 8-yard gain by Connor. And the Connor got hurt on that. And Al also got called for false start in the same drive. Now, what I will say, and I'm glad I looked at my notes. Appreciate that, Tony. I got about 1 more minute, guys, literally. The third down conversions were excellent by the Steelers. Excellent. Time of possession, excellent. There was one drive that was 7 minutes or so, almost an 8-minute drive in the third quarter. Excellent game plan. The Steelers did enough to win the game. In my opinion, they won the game. Got robbed for it, but it is what it is. We can't cry about it. All in all, guys, I think we're still okay. We need to make sure we go down to Houston, take care of business. If one of those other teams lose, cool. If not, oh well. We need to make sure we win both games. If we do that, we secure the 2nd seed and a bye, which we desperately need. And we've got to wrap it up here, guys. My wife has to come take over the man cave for her, things that she does here in the evening. So I got to get out of here, man. But I appreciate all of you guys for coming through. Make sure, again, man, come back and leave comments after the video is archived so I can, I can see them. I can't always see, I can't generally see the comments that are left in the live chat once the video archives. So please continue this discussion there. Thank you guys for coming out. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't. Cut on your notifications. Hit that like button. And here we go, Steelers, man. So look forward to the pregame coming up this Friday where I'll give you my keys to victory against the Houston Texans. All right, guys, that's going to do it. Catch you guys later. Y'all be easy. Peace.